Georgia Gym Dogs play host to the UCLA Bruins. A mid-season non-conference break for both teams. The high-flying action is coming up next.
And the Dogs D is done. What can I say? They were the best. They really stood out. They put it all together when it counts, and that's what this sport's all about.
And that just may do it for Georgia here tonight.
Wow.
Welcome to Stegman Coliseum. Tonight, a matchup between two of the most storied programs in college gymnastics. Georgia and UCLA have combined to win 8 of the last 9 national championships. Good evening. I'm Melissa Moscow alongside Cory Fritzinger. And Cory, Georgia has been impressive in 2006, coming off last year's national title victory. They look like they're primed for another in 2006.
They're 10-0 overall. They're 4-0 in the SEC. They just came off an amazing weekend beating both Alabama and Oklahoma. Suzanne gave them the week off. They practiced just yesterday. They looked amazing in warm-ups, and I think they're right where they need to be.
UCLA, on the other hand, is at a very different point in the season. They just broke in the top 10 this week. They are 9th in the country. What is going on with the Bruins this year?
I talked to Coach Valerie Condos-Field during warm-ups. She said she's wanted to rest some of the girls that are performing here tonight. However, she has Tasha Schweikert and Kate Richardson, 2 of her top performers, out with injuries. And so she's had to put more people in and take other people out. But she feels that within a month, they're right where they're going to need to be.
It should be a great meet. When we come back, we will get things underway. Georgia goes to the vault, UCLA to the uneven bars. Stay with us. You are watching College Gymnastics here on CSS. Back to Stegman Coliseum. I'm here with UGA head coach Suzanne Yoculan. Suzanne, your team coming off back-to-back wins last weekend. You gave them some time off this week. How important was it to rest them up for this meet?
Well, it wasn't just a matter of resting them for this meet. It's just the midpoint of the season, 2 big wins, a lot of pounding on the legs. We've got a long way to go and 6 weeks of postseason, so we were looking at the big picture. The rest will do them well in the long stretch.
Beating UCLA was a huge turning point for this team last year, no question. This year, the roles are kind of reversed. You guys come in the defending national champions. How different is this meet from a year ago?
Oh, it's so different. I mean, we were on a roll when we went over there. We had just beat Utah, and, we wanted that win bad, and that's what we told the girls today. UCLA's coming in here today, and they want this win bad. So, we just got to continue to step it up and progress as we go through the season.
Thanks so much. Good luck tonight.
Yeah.
UCLA is led by Valerie Condos-Field in her 16th year with the Bruins. In the past 10 years, she has led UCLA to 5 NCAA titles. Let's get the meet underway with Kelsey Ericksen, the junior from Georgia, on the vault.
She starts off the Yurchenko full twist. Her legs were nice and straight and together in the air, and she took a small step on the landing. Kelsey's been a good leadoff person for Georgia this year on the vault. She gets great height off the horse. Her arms are straight. With that small step, it's going to be a 1/10 reduction.
A 9.8 for Kelsey Ericksen. Jalynn Dantszcher, the freshman from UCLA, will start things off on the uneven bars.
She gets a kip hand a little short to a giant full to Tkachev. Not a real high dynamic release move. A pack salto to the low bar. Now here she's getting ready for her dismount. Another short handstand, giant full, to an immediate double tuck with her legs together, and she sticks that landing. The whole team looks pleased.
9.725. Why it seemed like such a low score?
I think a lot of it was because her handstands were short. That's one thing that they're really looking for this year.
The lone senior from Georgia, Brittany Smith.
A Yurchenko Arabian, and she nails the landing. This is a good thing for Brittany. She's been struggling on this event from the beginning of the season. The first couple of meets, she was taken out of the lineup, but it looks like she got back on this week.
A huge score, 9.9. Why not a 10? The landing?
That and her knees were a little bit bent in the air.
Back over to the bars. Janelle Dantszcher, of course, the sister of Jalynn, whom we just saw a moment ago.
She starts off with a giant blind to a straddled Jaeger, hip hand short to a pack salto.
How many skills are required on the bars?
You have to have at least one release move, and then there's a
seems happy with that routine, a 9.775.
Her handstands were also short, just like Jalynn's were, and then the step on the dismount was a big deduction.
Here's Ashley Kupets, a junior.
Yurchenko half on, front pike off, a small hop. That was a better landing than some of the vaults that she did earlier in the season.
A 9.85.
Her feet are nice and close together in the air.
Back over to the bars, another freshman. We've got a lot of freshmen for the Bruins here tonight. We can talk more about that later. Here's Ariana Berlin.
Hip hand, giant blind to a pike jagger, and she missed it. It's going to be a 5/10 deduction, and there may also be a deduction depending on if they say that she got a grip on the bar before she fell or not.
That must be so tough for a gymnast to completely come off the bars and have to get back on and finish the routine.
Now she's starting her dismount. A big full in, back out, and she hits the landing. If she hadn't had that fall, that probably would have been one of the better scores for the Bruins.
9.075.
Here's showing her release again. She did get grip on the bar, so she probably got credit for the move.
Courtney Kupets, the freshman from Georgia.
A half on, pike off. That was a good landing. Her feet moved just a little bit. They, in practice, they play stick it every day. And that's one thing that she says she tries to think about when she goes up to compete on the vault.
A nice score, a 9.925. What does the stick it mean? They play a game called stick it?
Each girl has to stick in a row.
Oh, did you ever win that?
I didn't, I don't think.
Here's Ashley Peckett from UCLA. You were still pretty good, though, so we'll give you credit.
She's a giant full to a reverse heck. That's a combination move that will give her some bonus points. To a giant half overshoot hand. Now back up to the high bar. Her handstands are all the way up. With a big double layout dismount. Chest down a little bit on the landing. And the step will be about a 1/10 deduction.
A 9.825 for Ashley, a junior.
You see her feet were a little bit apart too when she let go.
Time to check in on another freshman, Tiffany Tolnay.
Yurchenko 1.5 twists. Small hop forward. This is Tiffany is a very dynamic vaulter, and I believe that if she ever nails this landing, we're going to see a 10 out of her.
Came close that time, a 9.9. Kristina Comforte will wrap things up for UCLA on the uneven bars.
She goes hip hand to a toe shoot Shaposhnikova, immediate overshoot, uphill to the high bar. All that done in combination will give her some bonus. A giant blind to a pike jagger. Hip pirouette. 2 giants to a double layout. And that's a very nice routine for Kristina. Everybody seems pleased.
A 9.925, a high score. I think the highest score we've seen.
That was
on the bars
a well-deserved score.
But so far, I'd have to say the first rotation belongs to the Gym Dogs. Especially look at the score, 49.375 to the Bruins, 48.325. We come back, Georgia on the bars.
Hey, Bulldog.
Welcome back to Stegman Coliseum, where the top-ranked Georgia Gym Dogs are hosting 9th-ranked UCLA. And so far, Georgia looking good on the vaults. UCLA's turn. Here's Janelle Dantszcher.
This is Yurchenko full twist. It looked like her arms were a little bent when she went onto the horse. She looks pleased with that vault, however.
9.725.
Her arms were bent. She didn't get a good push off the horse, and her chest is down on the landing.
Nikki Childs will kick things off on the uneven bars for Georgia.
She's a kip hand to a giant 1.5 in-bar Ginger, That is a combination that she's been working on all season. To a pack salto. Hip hand pirouette. And now back up to the high bar, getting ready for her dismount. A giant full to an immediate double tuck. And a very small step. That was a great routine for Nikki.
A 9.85 for the sophomore. Good start for Georgia in that rotation. Over now to Ashley Peckett.
Yurchenko Arabian. She had great height off the horse, and as we look at the replay, we're going to be able to see how tight and straight that her body was right here. Just a nice hollow position and a good landing.
9.825. Here's Tiffany Tolnay, who had a 9.9 on the vault. Off to a good start tonight.
Handstands are all the way up. She has blind change, straddled Jaeger. Another handstand up. Overshoot hand. Her third handstand is up. Giant full to a giant blind. Double front. That was an amazing routine for Tiffany. The whole team looks pleased. It's really important to get those handstands up because they can take anywhere from a half tenth to a tenth and a half.
A 9.9, why not a 10?
I really don't know. That was a good routine.
Judges are tough. Ariana Berlin on the vault.
Yurchenko full. Although her feet really didn't move, with her chest being so low, they can take up to a tenth for that landing.
A 9.825.
She had good straight arms on the horse, though.
Katie Heenan on the bars.
All the girls from Georgia have what we call a hecht mount, where you go over the low bar. She starts with a toe shoot blind to a straddled Jaeger way above the bar. Handstand up. Overshoot to an uphill. She's a very aggressive bar worker.
She always looks very solid.
Giant blind to a double front. And a small step, but a good routine for Katie.
9.875.
Her feet came apart just a little bit there on her blind change before her dismount.
Georgia looking very strong on the uneven bars tonight. Here's Jordan Schweikert.
Does a Yurchenko full twist. It's a nice vault for Jordan. She approaches the horse. Straight arms, good pop off the horse, and a nice landing.
A big score for UCLA on that vault, a 9.95. Kelsey Ericksen on the bars.
Heck mount. Starts off with a big combination, a toe shoot to a reverse hecht. Now she's getting ready for her second release move. Giant blind to a pike Jaeger to an immediate overshoot.
Heading into this meet, Kelsey leads the nation on the bars and is 5th on the balance beam.
Her dismount, a big double Arabian and a small hop on the landing. Trying to cover it up there a little bit.
A smile always helps.
Yes, it does.
A 9.875 for Kelsey. Here is Kristina Comforte.
She's a Yurchenko full twist. Big hop backwards, but she goes really high after she hits the horse. A straight body.
A little hop there at the end, a 9.775. The freshman has the final say for Georgia on the uneven bars, Courtney Kupets.
She's a toe shoot Shaposhnikova to an overshoot hand, immediately into an uphill. That's one of her bonus combinations. And here's another one, a hop full to a reverse hecht. I hear that has 5/10 of bonus. Last handstand short. And she ends with a big double layout and nails the dismount.
Does she have one of the more difficult routines for Georgia?
If her routine could start above a 10, I think hers would start from like a 10.5 or a 10.6.
Wow, and a nice score, a 9.95. Georgia outstanding on the uneven bars. It's now 98.825 to UCLA's 97.425. We'll head to the third rotation when we come back. Stay with us. Truck back in Athens, Georgia, where the Gym Dogs lead the UCLA Bruins after 2 rotations. Kelsey Ericksen, the junior from Cincinnati, Ohio, will kick things off on the balance beam. She comes into this meet ranked number 3 in the overall standings in the nation.
She mounted the beam with a front tuck to a wolf jump. Now going into her full turn requirement. Every beam routine has to have certain elements, and the full turn is one of them.
She She is 5th in the nation on the balance beam.
Back handspring layout, step out. A solid flight series. She's a great start-off person for Georgia. Last year, Suzanne was trying to set the lineup, and she was looking for somebody to start Georgia off on the beam, and Kelsey spoke up and said that she would do it. She likes to go first and be in that leadoff position.
Is that tough to start this event first?
It kind of sets the precedent for the rest of the team, whether you stick or you fall, and so she likes to be in those pressure situations.
Yeah, I was going to say no pressure.
She does a switch leap to 2 straddle jumps, a combination move, and also a leap series requirement.
Her high score on this event, a 9.925, ironically against UCLA back in January of 2004.
She dismounts with a cartwheel, gainer full, and sticks the landing, so a great start-off performance by Kelsey Ericksen.
A 9.825. She was a second-team All-American on the balance beam last year, so this is an event that she likes and is very good at. Suzanne liked that one.
Yes, she did.
She jumped for joy on that. Over to the floor, here is Jalynn Dantszcher, a freshman from California.
Her first pass, a double Arabian. She opened a little too early out of that and stumbled backwards. She does a tuck double.
In 2004, in the club realm, she was a level 10 national all-around and floor exercise champion.
She stumbled there in the corner too, lost her footing a little bit. A front through to a double full. That was an interesting pass. She didn't do a back handspring out of her roundoff, which we see most of the gymnasts doing in their tumbling passes.
We should remind everyone at home that UCLA does not have their full team here. They are competing with a lot of freshmen tonight.
I believe out of their whole team, they only traveled 8 girls to this competition, 5 of them being freshmen.
And as you said at the beginning, talking to Valerie Condos Field, she really feels this team's going to be ready to go in 4 weeks. Injuries could play a big role in that, obviously.
She enters her routine with a double pike, lands with her chest a little bit low. Could be a little bit of the freshman jitters for her.
I'm sure Stegman is not an easy place to come to.
Not with that student section sitting right there next to the floor.
With those newspapers up their face. That's nice. A 9.8 for Jalynn on the floor exercise. We head back over to the balance beam where we find Audrey Bowers, a sophomore from Lilburn, right here in Georgia.
Audrey has really stepped up for the lineup this year, being out last year with an ankle injury. She starts with her flight series. Back handspring, layout, step out, and she looks on tonight.
Last year, she competed on the bars and the beam at the SEC Championships, and I'm sure that was a great thrill for her in front of her hometown crowd.
Right there, you just saw her do her full turn, and she overturned it, but she danced out of it, so sometimes the judges won't take a deduction on that if you can cover it up well enough. She goes switch leap to a straddle jump, straddle popa, little check.
Does her ankle seem pretty healthy this year? I mean, she struggled with with an ankle injury back in 2005.
I don't think that it's really been bothering her much. You can see that she has it taped, but I think that's more for preventing another injury than it hurting this year. She dismounts the beam with a round-off double full, step backwards, but good routine.
A 9.8 for Audrey.
She threw her shoulders back a little bit when she took off, and that may be the result of that step.
Back over to UCLA, we find Janelle Dantszcher, of course, the twin sister of Jalynn. And I think they look a lot alike.
I can't tell them apart.
No, you cannot.
She starts off with a 2.5 twist. That was really nice. She had her legs together and they were straight. Looks like she's going to go right into her second pass. There's a whip half to a front full, and she tried to do a stag jump out of it, but looked like her knees were bent when she took off, so it was little bit of a mistake.
Jalynn is actually 2 minutes older than Janelle, so she is the younger sister in the group. And they have quite a big family. She has two older brothers and 4 older sisters.
And one of those older sisters being Jamie Dantszcher, who competed for UCLA the past few years.
She was also a 2000 U.S. Olympic team and a 3-time NCAA champion at UCLA. And of course, that is the person that Janelle most admires, is her sister Jamie.
Jamie's a good person to admire. She was an amazing gymnast.
A lot of athletic ability in that family. You don't see that every day.
Especially with that many kids.
Now, you have a younger sister. Is she a gymnast?
No, she's not. She's just a normal teenager.
A normal teenager. I'm sure she liked that.
Ending her routine with a big double pike.
A 9.825.
Feet were nice and close together on that double pike. It was a good routine.
Back over to the balance beam. Nikki Childs, and I love how she gets on the beam.
Not many people mount the beam on their shoulders, but with the flexibility that Nikki has and just her overall body control, it's just an amazing mount, and everybody loves to watch it. She goes right into her flight series.
She was a second-team All-American on the bars and beam last year.
There's a switch ring. She looks like she's more confident this week in her moonwalk. Every week the crowd just gets louder and louder as she does that.
She had to use Michael Jackson. She's going to do the moonwalk.
Of course. The wolf jump to a double stag. Cat leap, front aerial. Ooh, little check there. It looked like she had it and just second-guessed herself.
In 2005, she ranked 15th nationally and 3rd in the SEC on the beam following the regular season.
Gainer dismount, a gainer pike, and she sticks to landing. It's a good routine.
Is that a difficult dismount?
It's not one of the more difficult ones, but it does have kind of a blind takeoff, and if you don't get your body position right, you may come a little close to the end of the beam.
A 9.85. Georgia likes that. When we come back, Courtney Kupets on the balance beam. Stay with us.
1-800-LAW-HELP.
We are back at Stegman Coliseum, where freshman Courtney Kupets takes to the balance beam. She's from Gaithersburg, Maryland, the sister, of course, of Ashley Kupets.
She starts off her routine immediately with a handspring layout, step out, layout, step out. Both she and Nikki have an interesting beginning to their flight series. Most people stand and wait before they go, and they just step right in and go into it, and that the judges really like to see that.
Courtney was the SEC Gymnast of the Week last week for the second time this year after winning the all-around competition against Alabama and Oklahoma last weekend. 2 very big back-to-back wins for Georgia.
Her last big move was a punch front to a wolf jump. That was a combination move. Here she has a very pretty scale.
She is second in the nation when it comes to the all-around.
There's a switch leap, gainer layout, solid landing. Each week she's getting more confident up on that balance beam, doing her routines more like she does in practice. She finishes with 2 back handsprings to a double back and a small step backwards.
A 9.9, a big score for the freshman. She always has a big score, it seems like.
Yes, she does, but it's nice to see her getting more confident each week.
Here is Jordan Schweikert, a sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada, on the floor. I'm sure growing up in Las Vegas was interesting.
She starts off her routine with a big double pike, a big hop on the landing. It looked like she got a whole lot of power out of that back handspring. She goes right into her second pass.
She was an all Pac-10 selection in the all-around last season.
Front handspring, front full, front pike.
Her older sister Tasha is the reigning NCAA all-around champion, but noticeably missing here tonight.
It's unfortunate for UCLA that Tasha's not in their lineup. She had a shoulder injury in which she had to have her shoulder scoped a couple weeks ago, but Coach Valerie Contis-Field said that within the next month she should be back in the lineup on a few events.
Jordan is a biology major, She wants to be an orthodontist. And she finishes her degree at UCLA. Good career.
They have really nice choreography in their routines. Coach Field, I hear, does a lot of their choreography. And here goes Jordan into her last pass.
Contis-Field has actually choreographed 13 NCAA championship routines on the beam and floor. Pretty impressive.
That was a nice routine for Jordan and one that the Bruins were looking for. Here's a replay of her last pass.
A 9-8 on this routine.
She was a round off immediate 1.5 twist punch front layout.
Back over to the bounce beam, we have the sophomore from South Riding, Virginia, Katie Heenan.
Her beam music is actually Meet Virginia. There's a back handspring layout, step out. You saw she was very aggressive on that landing and brought her head right up and smiled and knew she was on. The straddle jump, sheep jump. Sheep jump has a blind landing, so it's a difficult skill for someone to do on the balance beam. A punch front. Small check there, but she covered it up well.
A second-team All-American on this event last year.
If you watch Katie closely, you'll notice that her eyes are hardly ever on the beam. They're usually up and above, and she's looking around.
She always looks very relaxed.
Round up double full. She covered up that landing too. She had a little stumble, but turned and faced the judges and saluted.
A 9.85. I do think she uses that smile to cover up any bobbles she has.
I know I did.
Well, you should use it then. Here's Kristina Comforte, a freshman from Burr Ridge, Illinois.
She's their top performer in the freshman class. She is competing all around tonight for UCLA. She starts off with a big double Arabian. A step forward, she had a lot of power. She goes directly into her second pass as well. Front handspring, front layout, into a stag jump. It looked like she had a little, not enough control out of that second layout.
You know, we talk about what a tough place Stegman Coliseum is. UCLA is one of the few teams to have any success here in Athens. They did win a meet here back in January of '04. That was a big victory for them.
And they also won the 2001 national title in Athens.
But so far tonight, the Gym Dogs with the upper hand.
Big smile to the judges.
How important is that to look over at the judges, acknowledge them during a floor routine?
I don't know if it so much helps with your score, but it makes us think that it helps the score, so we do it as much as possible. Now our last pass. A big double pike. Looked like she opened a little bit early, had bent knees on the landing, and her chest was down, but a big smile.
A 9.725 for Kristina.
I think that middle pass where she stumbled out of her leap probably was the biggest deduction.
UGA with a big lead, 148.05 to UCLA's 146.275. Now we're going over to the floor exercise, a place where I think Georgia always performs well, especially at Stegman. And here's the senior, Brittany Smith.
Starts off with a whip immediate double pike. It's a difficult first pass, but she makes it look so easy. I know the girls in practice, we were talking about smiling at the judges. Suzanne has the girls in practice with different teammates around the floor, and they have to smile at them and make different faces, and it really adds to the floor routine.
She knows what it is like to do a perfect. She had a perfect 10 against UCLA back in '04, going for another one tonight.
She did a whip half, front full, punch front. You hear the team with the Go Dogs in the background. Double turn to a wolf full.
She used to be coached by Bella Caroli. Coach everyone knows in the world of gymnastics.
A big breath before her last pass. A huge double tuck. That's a great routine for Brittany. It seems like she's getting more confident each week, and that ankle looks like although it's taped up, it didn't really phase her much here tonight.
A 9.85 for the senior.
Just a great landing.
The second year we've only had one senior on Georgia's gymnastics team. Over to the balance beam, here is Ariana Berlin.
She's very sharp with her choreography in this beam routine. Starting off with a front handspring.
You know, we talked about Valerie Kondo's field doing much of the choreography for the beam and the floor. What about Georgia? I mean, who does the majority of their routines?
We have someone come in from New York that cuts the music and does the choreography, but the girls get to pick out their music.
Ariana was an all-around champion and an even bars runner-up the 1999 Western National Championships at the club level, heading into her career at UCLA. She also earned level 10 status and was training for elites before injuries from a serious car accident actually forced her retirement in 2001.
Wow. And here she has an interesting dismount. She goes a back handspring layout, step out to a full twist. So she combined her flight series with her dismount.
Back over to the floor, Abby Stack looks ready to go.
Abby loves competing the floor.
The crowd is into this one.
This is a full in pike out.
Again, a freshman from Matthews, North Carolina.
Double turn to a wolf 1.5. It's really important to get those leaps and those jumps all the way around because you can get a deduction for not completing the full rotation.
A little Mission Impossible music for you.
She does a front through to a double pike for her second pass. Difficult second pass. You see most people doing that as a first pass. She does a switch wolf to a Shushanova.
She seems very on tonight when it comes to the floor.
Abby's a natural-born performer. Big breath as the team does a little move in the background. And ends with a whip, immediate double full. Is beautiful, legs together. She was tight in her rotations.
Nicely done from the freshman, Abby Stack. Big score, a 9.9.
That is Abby's career high. She looks pleased.
Georgia looking outstanding tonight. They get better every week. Back over to the Bruins. Here's Janelle Dantszcher.
It's so funny for me to watch Jalynn and Janelle when they compete because they remind me so much of Jamie. Just their lines and the way that they do certain moves. Starts off with a handspring layout, step out.
I'm sure older sister gives a lot of advice. I know mine always does, whether I want to hear it or not.
Switch sleep to a wolf jump, straddle jump. She had a little check, but with the wolf and the straddle connected, she still gets her requirement in.
I know it's always hard to predict, but if you look at their UCLA's lineup with the injuries, if they had those key girls here tonight, key young women, I should say, I mean, do they really have a chance when it comes time to the NCAAs?
They definitely do. They're really, in the past few years, I've noticed that they don't get wrapped up in the season rankings. They just are more concerned with the postseason championships. Ends with a punch front full.
And they just broke in the top 10 this week. They came into this meet 9th in the country. A 9.8 score for Janelle. When we come back, Kelsey Ericksen on the floor.
Hoop, hoop, hooray!
We are back at Stegman Coliseum. Here's Kelsey Ericksen performing a new routine on the floor exercise.
Dynamic ending for Kelsey. This is only the first time she competed this routine. She did an exhibition last week against Oklahoma. Her first pass was a full and back out. First time competing it. And here we'll see a replay of her last pass. Her big double back. Knees together in the air and a great landing.
A 9.925. I'm sure she was very happy with that score, being her first time performing at Stegman Coliseum. Back over to the beam, here's Jordan Schweikert. Again, a 5'4" sophomore. You're talking about her sister Tasha, who ironically is also a sophomore.
She deferred a year because of going to the Olympic Games in 2004. Jordan just did a handspring to a layout step out. A switch leap to a Shushanova down to the beam. We don't see that very often on the balance beam.
We know Tasha's not here because of injuries, but Jordan also had shoulder problems this year. She was sidelined from November to late January after she had orthoscopic shoulder surgery, and she returned to the lineup in late January. They're both dealing with shoulders.
That was a front side summy. Also a blind landing. So it's real confident up there tonight for the Bruins. A full turn. And she will dismount with a gainer full off the side. A stuck landing, but her feet were kind of far apart.
A 9.925 for Jordan.
It was a solid routine. Teams, please.
Back over to the floor, Courtney Kupets.
I just love to watch Courtney on floor. Her choreography is just awesome. She's going to start off with a big double Arabian. Nice landing.
The music seems to suit her very much.
She's just so flowy and fluid when she dances. A straddle popo to a wolf full. Her second pass. To do a front handspring, front full, front layout half to a Shushanova.
Courtney was a member of the 2004 U.S. Olympic team. She won a silver medal in the overall and a bronze in the individual uneven bars. That must have given her a lot of exposure and confidence.
There's a switch leap to a cat double.
When she joined the team this year, she was the 7th gym dog to have Olympic experience coming into her college years.
Big breath before that last pass. Double pike. Little scary on the landing. It looks like she lost her footing, but a big smile. The team out to congratulate her.
Courtney and her older sister Ashley are only the second pair of siblings to ever compete under Suzanne Yoculan.
And the first two were the Litchie sisters, Karen and Christy, who were also 2 years apart.
A lot of sibling talk tonight. Back over to Kristina Comforte. She will wrap things up on the balance beam for UCLA.
I like how when Kristina does her dance, she keeps her head up and doesn't look at the beam a lot. Starting off with a front aerial, a very difficult skill on the balance beam.
You know, we talk about UCLA and all of their injuries. I mean, how tough is that for these young women? Going through a season of ups and downs like that. They knew it was going to be a rebuilding year coming in.
I think if the injuries happen in the fall, it's not so hard. It's when you want to be out there competing and helping your team and just knowing that the only thing you can do is cheer, that you can't put up big scores.
Suzanne Yoculan talked about at the beginning of this meet how the roles have so reversed for these two teams. Last year, UCLA was the defending national champion, and Georgia was something to prove. And this year, it's completely opposite.
However, last year, you know, Georgia came on a rebuilding year, and
Lost
they ended up
straight meets.
Lost 4 meets at the beginning of the season and ended up winning the national title. So
Anything can happen.
a big gainer full dismount for Kristina.
A 9.875.
It's a nice routine, big dismount, feet together.
When we come back, Katie Heenan wraps things up on the floor.
Make your Saturday nights more.
Her last pass, a big double pike, and a huge smile. She knows that was a good routine, and so does Coach McGavin in the background.
Coach McGavin oversees the floor for Georgia.
He is mostly the vault coach.
Okay.
We'll look back at her 3 passes. The front double full punch front pike. Her feet were together.
I know each coach has their expertise as far as the 4 rotations go.
Her middle pass again. The front full front layout half. She's become a really good front tumbler. As you can see, she only has 1 back tumbling pass in her routine, which is the last one, the double pike, which most gymnasts start with their routine with.
A 9.925, a great end for Georgia tonight. Georgia just getting better and better. They walk away with another victory, 197.525 to UCLA's 195.2.
A few weeks ago, Georgia scored their season low 48.95 on the floor exercise, but each week they continue to build as they scored 5/10 higher here tonight.
Another impressive performance by Georgia. For the 2nd straight week, they had the highest score in the nation, also the top score in the nation on the bars tonight. Cory, is this team scary good?
I really think they are. It seems like each week they continue to build with that final team score, and yet there's still room for improvement. If they keep going on the track that they're going on now, there's a 198 somewhere in there for this team.
At the beginning, we talked about the NCAA history between these two teams. Both teams, a lot of freshmen. We got to look at that tonight. I have to say, it looked like Georgia has the upper hand.
They really do. Our freshmen had a combined total of 6.99s or higher for Georgia tonight. I mean, I think this team has great potential. We have great recruiting classes coming in next year. It's just going to be amazing to see where this team goes in the next few years.
And quickly, we have to mention Abby Stack. What a performance at 9.9 for her on the floor. Very impressive, and I'm sure a big confidence booster.
Most definitely. She came out there tonight with a big smile on her face, did one of the best floor routines I've ever seen her compete, and scored a career best for her. So,
well, it will be interesting to see where this team goes, and we'll see you all back here on March 3rd when the Gym Dogs host Kentucky. Until then, take care, everybody.